I've never met her, but I recognize that there are a lot of Canadians who are very, very passionate about particular issues and want to take their activism into politics. And I encourage everyone to look at politics as a way of making a difference.
I've never seen him. I've never met him. I was being interviewed by the media, and they were bringing him up on stage. I said, "I'm sorry. This is why I'm here. I wanted to hear him speak. I want to hear the way he talks. I want to know the issues he speaks about. I want to see the reception the audience gives him. And I've got to tell you, I am inspired."
That is Jodie Emery. Of course, she is married to the pot prince, Mark Emery, who is just getting out of jail after serving a 5-year sentence for selling pot seeds across the border. Nonetheless, she is looking to be the Liberal nominee. And yesterday, she and Mr. Trudeau were in the very same place, at the very same park, at the very same barbecue. But do you think they talked? Not on your life is Justin Trudeau going to have a face-to-face with Jodie Emery. Jeremy Richler and Rebecca Thompson joining me here to talk about this. I think the Emerys are going to become a very big headache for the Liberal Party. Jeremy?
Well, I mean, I think it can perhaps be a headache for Trudeau going down the road. The thing that I'll say is, I mean, she is a candidate in the Vancouver area going against Libby Davies, and BC is a province where the legalization of marijuana isn't an unpopular issue. So I think that there is support for the issue, and the reality is I think Justin Trudeau is going to play this very safe. Whereas he has openly favored certain candidates, particularly Adam Vaughan here in Toronto, he's going to let the process take its course, and ultimately
he's done a few star power people, and he has not had open nominations.
Oh no, I'm not disputing that there have been nominations that weren't open, but I think for this particular nomination, he's going to let the process proceed and the open process go through and see what the outcome is from there.
I think he's a bit of a hypocrite because on one side he wants to decriminalize marijuana.
He wants to legalize it.
Yes,
that's more than decriminalize it.
You're right, legalize marijuana. You know, here we have a candidate who has an agenda of legalization of marijuana. This is one of his major policy planks that we have heard coming out of him over the past year. He wants to legalize marijuana. Here we have a candidate who wants to move this agenda forward, and he refuses to even meet with her. This is going to be a problem, you're absolutely right, for Justin Trudeau, because of the fact that media are going to want him to make a position. Do you support somebody who has...
Because the Emerys are planning to do a big tour across Canada, and they are planning to use Mr. Trudeau as their platform to push their agenda through.
To your last point, in terms of him being a hypocrite there, I mean, I think he's doing the politically smart thing. I mean, could you imagine, particularly for this network, if he actually met with her? And that would be, you see, this is further confirmation that not only does he want to legalize marijuana, he wants to make this, the #1 issue. And I think...
But I think they're going to make it the #1 issue, because as long as Mark Emery and Jodie Emery are trotting around the country...
Well, it's going to be an issue, but the reality is the marijuana legalization issue is not an issue that I think the Conservatives can win. You have polls that consistently show that 70% of Canadians either favor outright legalization or decriminalization. This is where the trend is moving. You have American states
relaxing the laws. Overwhelmingly, though, 2/3 Canada does not want.
But I believe it's a wedge issue that actually Justin Trudeau can win. And if the Conservatives play I mean, you have libertarian Conservatives very much believe the government shouldn't be intruding into the private lives of people that ought to be in favor, if not outright legalization.
On this basis, then, why wouldn't he meet with her? So here we have the Vancouver...
I don't know, maybe he was busy. No. Maybe we need to ask him. I can't answer for it.
Well,
that I can't answer for.
Well, you know what?
There could be a million
but
reasons.
They've ignored phone calls. Look, their camp is distancing themselves from the Emerys. They don't want their entire campaign, once he does start to talk about policy, to be only about pot. Because if Canadians have to go to the polls to vote on pot, that's not going to serve him very well. I'm all about relaxation of the laws. I don't want legalization as a whole, but I could be comfortable, as many Canadians could be, with some kind of decriminalization of small amounts. But I don't think Mr. Trudeau wants to see the entire campaign only talked about with pot. And Mark Emery and Jodie Emery will make it about pot because that's their agenda. So and they'll get a lot of attention.
I know, but I mean, the thing is, it's an issue that obviously could become a problem. I don't see it. I still think it's rather a tempest in the teapot. But go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say he's opened a bit of a can of worms here because he's the one who decided that this was one of his policies. I would say one of his major policy planks, because we haven't heard a lot of policy ideas come out of Justin Trudeau.
That's not fair.
It's true.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, he's accused of not being able to take positions, but then he very quickly took a position on the Keystone XL pipeline. He was against the Northern Gateway. He took positions on marijuana. He arguably took positions which might not have been the wisest when it
That's only because Sun News asked him.
No, I just,
we're the only ones that
about
asked
policy
him.
positions that uniquely define him, and this is a policy position that uniquely defines him. Here we have a board, a Liberal board of Vancouver East, who went out and specifically recruited Jodie Emery to run in this nomination battle. And if Justin Trudeau doesn't want to acknowledge her or meet with her, or he realizes that this is something that he's going to have to stay away from, he's actually saying, like, I actually wanted to float the idea that we should legalize marijuana, but when it actually comes to having a candidate who is defined by this issue, well, hold on, I'm not sure if all of Canada's ready for
Because
that.
while the Emerys might be big in Vancouver, they sure as heck aren't going to be big in Nova Scotia and eastern parts of Canada that don't want this at all. I mean, there are Canadians that don't look at marijuana and think, awesome, dude, like, let's get it going.
Absolutely.
There are. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, there are pockets of Ontario that want it. There are big time out in Vancouver, but
I still think I still hold on to the view, and also I think polls and opinions change over time, that definitely the movement in favor of legalization is gaining steam, and that this isn't really an issue that I think is causing Justin Trudeau to lose sleep at night. I think there are many more salient issues that could become bigger headaches. I don't think this is one of them.
For example, how he loves China, which he talked about a few months ago in front of a group of women.
I mean,
he's been very quiet on Israel. Look, he made a big gaffe when it came.
He actually made a statement that was unequivocally supportive.
No,
of this.
he issued a statement that was very kind of wishy-washy, and then as it went on, he took a bolder step.
Well,
Mark Garneau has been the face of this for the Liberal Party, but the bottom line is, after that Ukraine gaffe of the hockey game, the Russian hockey game, he's been quiet this time around. No?
Well, what I would say, I mean, in terms of the Middle East, I just know, being on Facebook, that there were many, the Liberals don't support Israel threads going all over Facebook. Then Justin Trudeau makes a statement, as did Mark Garneau. Guess what? I didn't see any more conservative anti-Justin Trudeau statements on Israel. So I know it behooves you guys here a little bit, but I do think that Justin Trudeau and the team around him, they're strategic, they're smart. Yes, there have been gaffes. I'm not going to try to defend the Ukraine one. But this is a team that knows what it's doing, and I think you guys got to be onto that.
My analysis of Jodie Emery is the fact that the Liberals actually don't want her at all. But unlike, for example, in Toronto, where they actually managed to block a candidate from winning in a certain riding, in Vancouver, they realize they can't block Jodie Emery because the Liberal Party realizes that we don't want her as a candidate, likely, but we have to, we can't actually block her nomination as we have with others because of the fact that what would that look like if, given the fact that this is one of our major policy planks.
And it would get a lot of attention because Mark would be very, very upset.